Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you here again. And man, this is where it really comes down to it, doesn't it? We are up here against Vaiala Tongan again, and I'm hoping that we do better this time against them than we did the last time. Last time they beat us 2-0, and we didn't have anything going on. You can see here again that Ledoux, the reason why he's taking those shots is because he is on a attacking instruction. I wonder here if I could do something to get him to shoot a little bit less often. That might help us out a little bit more, maybe cross a little bit more often, and see if we can aim the crosses here at the center to sort of see what would go on. Let's see if that makes any sort of difference or not for us today. And let's see what we can do. We really need a win. As I was telling you yesterday afternoon, Ilaoa and To'omata looks like they are currently losing. And so we have to hope that they will lose. There are only 5 games left in the season for both sides. And so we need 2 losses by them and then 2 wins by us and to overcome the goal differential. It would be preferable if they had 3 losses and we went undefeated the final 5 matches of the season. We'll see if that happens or not. You can see that gap is 6 points, which makes me wonder if they didn't come back to win or if they just haven't counted today's match. I'm not sure what, but we'll find out exactly what's going on here. And let's see what happens here in this one. We are in red and white once again. And let's see what if we can get the ball off of them or not, as they sort of hold up play for a while. And that's Tua with a really, really poor foul. He ends up with a yellow card less than 20 seconds into the match. And so that's not really the right way to start this one up. Tua, of course, didn't have a great match last time up, and we're giving him another chance here. Tua wins this one. Midfield's always been our problem. Fetua passes that one over the top to Pati, left side. Pati knocks that down, looking for Petupoli, can't find him. Fao Danielson now with it, over to Tua, back to Danielson. And that ends up being won by them, and ends up with Tua there in midfield. And there's Moana, who should have scored and just missed that one. I'm not quite sure how he missed that one there. And so there we have it. It's still 0-0 here as this match goes forward. And let's see if we can get this ball back off them again. Moana in a great position, takes the shot, hits the wall, and that one goes back and up and over for a corner. We haven't done very well in set pieces so far this season. Here's Ledoux. He's going to go near a corner. You can see that here. And he does, and it's Tua standing there and can't quite get a head onto that. You can tell our guys don't really quite know what to do when we have set pieces pending. And we're trying our hardest here now to get at least some sort of pressure on them to win the ball back off. And it's Walter Assam who runs back and gets that one. That was a real dangerous pass there to Ikuvalu. And then he passes it safely to him. Ikuvalu, instead of doing what I told him to, ends up knocking that one over to midfield. Famuana has it now over to Roy Ledoux. Ledoux lumps this one forward, finds Tua, of all people, who will take a shot, and that's blocked, of course, by their defenders, and their goalkeeper ends up with it. Fao Danielson now with it, next highlight. Brings this one up forward, looking for Petupoli, and can't quite find him. And maybe we should have started Maile instead. Petupoli doesn't look like he's necessarily all the way out for this one, and their shot, fortunately, ends up going over the goal, and that'll be a goal kick for us. So 0-0 here in the early going. Here's Palipua. Palipua takes it up to Pati. Pati down to Tamwa. Over to Chris Faumana, and he ends up having it taken away from him. And this is looking bad again. It's Palipua who just barely knocks that cross out of there, and it's Fao Danielson just can't quite get his head onto that one, and we need a good clearance. And it's Walter Assam again saving the day. He's having a pretty good match there in the back, but we don't just need a good match in the back. We need some of our players up front to actually score. And as I was saying, Petupoli has a really, really poor rating. I was a little bit worried about that. He hasn't performed for us this season the way that we've been hoping. Tua with it back to Famoana, over to Ledoux. Roy Ledoux has found Petupoli there, and he should have scored that. It ends up knocking off the post. And boy, I tell you, that was a sitter. That should have been 1-0 for PanSa East FC. And I don't know how in the world we're going to get ourselves back into this title race if we're missing shots like this. Petupoli has a great shot on that one, and that one ends up just hitting the side post, and it looks like that would have been harder not to score that one. He had all sorts of space wide open there. Pati over to Ledoux, to Tua, over to Petupoli. Petupoli down to Fao Danielson. We've got something going now. We're on the run, and knocks us all the way over to Roy Ledoux, who looks for Famoana, and that is intercepted. I don't think he saw the defender. And now we have to get back really quickly. And it's Pati, fortunately, he's got the speed, acceleration to get back over to Palipua. Palipua with a real dangerous pass, so looking for Famoana. I'm not sure what position he's supposed to be playing. Do we have him in midfield? I don't think so. I think he's supposed to be our advanced forward. Ikuvalu ends up grabbing that ball, and Famoana is playing that deep forward position. I think that's probably part of the problem. I don't think that he's the best player to play in that position. This is a pretty poorly chosen team on my part. I thought maybe Maile didn't have it in him because he didn't have it in him in the last match. And it's Ikuvalu who grabs that one. That's going to be an offside call, though, against Vaiala Tongan. And so still nothing here in this one. And this reminds me of our last match against them where it was nothing. We have had more of the momentum, but it doesn't mean anything. We can have a whole bunch of passes. It doesn't mean anything. We need to get goals. Toa ends up winning this one and taking it himself in midfield. And let's see here. The stupid all sort thing. I wanted to click OK, whatever. Famoana ends up with the ball over to Walter Assam. Walter Assam knocks this one forward to nobody. And so it ends up being a whole bunch of nothing. I'm trying to get Roy Ledoux instead to do more of these crosses. And there's one over the top to Famoana, who should have scored, and that was knocked back for a corner. So more chances here for us. And let's see what happens here with Roy Ledoux as he takes this corner, steps back, winds up and fires, looking for Palipua. Can't quite find him. That is knocked back out for another corner. So we'll try it one more time. That was near corner. This one I think is going to be far corner. That's what it looks like. Everybody's stepping back, and this is a far corner attempt and ends up with absolutely nothing. Palipua can't quite get a head onto that one, and that is the end of that. This highlight's a little bit old. And so we'll go forward here and probably hit halftime 0-0 is what I'm guessing. And the throw comes into Taumoa, and it's knocked off. It looked like it was knocked off of Patty's back foot over to Walter Assam now on the other side of the pitch, over to Toa, who lumps one up and forward into a bunch of nothing, and it's out for a goal kick. So we're still having some problems. 0-0 is a score line, and this is looking pretty poor. We do need to keep working hard. I do think that we have a chance of winning this one, but we'll see what happens here. You never know. We have certainly lost matches that we were playing better in, and look at this. I don't even have Maile on the bench, and so we're going to have to put Mark Tagai on, who is not the person I want to put on. This was a really poorly chosen team by me. Fao Danielson having another bad match. We're going to have Roy Ledoux go on the other side, and we're going to put in Sasala over on the left side, and I think that's going to be enough. It looks like our defense is holding up fairly well. Famoana also with a pretty poor rating, so we'll see what we can do. We probably need to set him up a little bit better than we have been. What in the world was that? So I'm trying to get the team to retain possession instead of just lumping the ball forward for no reason. Ikuvalu now with the goal kick, and he's going to knock this one far too far away over to Sasala, who knocks it back to the defender. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do. This is lumped forward over to Taposoa, whatever his name is, and that ends up over the top for a goal kick. So we'll see what happens. Sasala now here with the free kick, and he hits the crossbar and knocks that one back up and over. And we're going to have to wait to see if we have another chance at getting to the ball. We're having a lot of poor performances here from a number of players. And let's see what we can do here. It is Roy Ledoux here who's going to take this corner, and he lumps it forward to Fetuau, who's sitting there near corner, and he can't figure out where the goal's at, and that is out for a goal kick. We win this one in midfield. It's over to Roy Ledoux again, who passes it forward to nobody. So we're trying to get him to pass it, and he does. He does what he's supposed to do, and he ends up finding a bunch of nothing. Taumoa back to Ikuvalu. Ikuvalu lumps this forward, looking for Famoana. And again, this is why I keep telling him, don't do that. Don't do that. We wanted to pass this in slowly instead of lumping the ball all over the field. Sasala with it now. Sasala takes it up to Roy Ledoux. Roy Ledoux lumps this one forward, looking for Famoana, and can't quite find him. I think we're having too many of these passes into space. We might need to be a little bit more direct with our passing. Perhaps that's what's going on. At the end of the season is probably the wrong time to go through and start changing the tactic around, but I'm trying to both get the players to fit the tactic and the tactic to fit the players, and that's a goal for Vaiala, and we are down just like that 1-0, and this is really upsetting because we should be winning this match. And this is not what we wanted to see. A little bit of counterattack from them. We had 5 players back, and they were back in somewhat good position, but we had a misplay there by, who was this? Walter Assam. Walter Assam, who made the save a number of times in the first half, makes a mistake there, and it leads to a goal, and it's a costly mistake. We're down 1-0, and I don't know if we have a comeback in us or not. My various applications for employment at other clubs around the world have all come back in failure. So we'll see what happens. There are a couple others that we have pending at the moment. But we might not be with this team for much longer, not if they're going to play like this, because we have, I think, the best possible team I can put together here. Walter Assam gave up possession very, very easily, and then is behind the play here. Ikuvalo has to dive to grab that ball. He actually didn't have to. Poor play by him, and he throws over to Palipua, which is what he's supposed to do. Palipua then, however, lumps this one forward to nobody and gives up possession just like that. So we're seeing this happen again. Ikuvalo grabs that ball in the air and passes over to Palipua. Palipua this time goes over to Pati, and that's the end of the highlight. So a whole bunch of really poor decision-making and poor play by them. We need somebody in there for Famoana who's not playing well at all. And, I mean, forget finding him. I'm tempted to just get rid of him. I mean, because this is ridiculous. We need people in here playing on offense who can actually score goals. We're not seeing that at all. We're seeing a bunch of players who look like they just don't care. And this is lump four. It's going to be it's going to be Fetoau who grabs this one. He doesn't. He ends up missing the header, and we're just sort of standing around. We're going to let them come in. Fortunately, we're able to win that one back, but not quite enough. And boy, that was almost a goal. And Ikuvalo, I'm not sure what he's doing. He sort of like backs up into the goal itself as if he's going to catch that one behind the line. And so it's out for a throw. This is really, really poor. And let's see if we can do something. Let's see if we can fire them up here. This is knocked forward and up for a corner, which is not quite what we wanted to see. And all right, let's see what happens here with this corner as Toa will take this for Vaiala Tongan. And I don't care much about being one yellow card away from suspension. We'll take the suspension. We need to win every match. This, however, looks like it's going to wind up another loss. We need to get 2 goals because a draw does nothing for us. And that's lumped up and forward. And their goalkeeper has it. And this is going to be the end of our attempt, I believe, at trying to win a repeat title. And this is pretty poor performances from a number of players. Palipua, one of the good players here, I would say, and he is able to get over onto that weird lob attempt. A lot of strange things happening here. This is, again, amateur, very, very amateur level football. Fetoau knocks this one forward for Walter Assam. Walter Assam has played okay, but it was his mistake that led to that goal. And Mark Tagai, as usual, gives up on that one halfway instead of trying to run after it. And so we may need to do a little bit of tactical adjusting and fiddling around here to try to see what we can do. And that was almost 2-0, and that was really, really poor attempt by the defense. And so we're going to ignore this. We're not taking anybody out. We're going to go ahead and let them in, because if we take Palipua out, they're going to score right away. They have the momentum, and they also have players who are certainly better than ours, that's for sure. And I don't know how Ikuvalo got into that one. Walter Assam, fortunately, wasn't called for a penalty on that. And this is going to be the end of the match right here. We are going to lose this one 1-0. And this has been a really, really poor performance for us. And Famoana over to Walter Assam, who needs to realize that we need to get the ball forward. We can't just sort of knock the ball around in midfield, because we're not going to score any goals that way. And that is the end. And that, if you haven't noticed this before, that is certainly the end of our season. We win 58% of the possession. We had the XG advantage. We had 0 shots on target and 9 shots overall, and that's where the difference lies. So really, really poor performance, and we need to move on from this club. I will talk with you later. Bye-bye.